day 5 of the Xerox Rochester International Jazz Festival, halfway through, and thousands of people headed to the East End tonight to listen to an eclectic mix.
You know what's happening, but it is a beautiful night down here on Jazz Street, downtown Rochester.
The Jazz Festival, especially tonight, this evening, with concerts.
In the Jazz Lounge.
That is the band Breach, and they played a couple nights ago at the Christchurch as part of the Made in the UK series, and we have a couple people in. John Lyons from London, Kathy Ree from Scotland, and how did the collaboration begin with the Jazz Fest and the Made for UK series?
Well, it was the brainchild of John Elson.
The Made in the UK series was basically created when a very good friend of mine in the business called me and said that he was going to create a new jazz festival in upstate New York in Rochester. His name's John Nugent. And immediately I went over to give him support in terms of all production activities. However, he insisted that we bring over from the UK artists to perform at his event. In order to make sense of that, I needed something a little more than a one-off situation. So he provided us with a venue, and we have a dedicated venue for 9 nights of the entire festival, which is Christ Church, a beautiful Episcopalian church downtown in the center of all the activity of the festival. The venue takes up to 1,200 people per night for 2 shows. We've been fortunate that we've been able to build up those numbers every year, and we now have capacity for every show every night.
So full. To the back. I am Julia Pierce from WXXI, the public broadcasting station here in Rochester. I've had such a great experience with the Made in UK. I just love it. I love it so much.
There are very few bands that seem to get the opportunity to come over here, and most of the ones that we've heard of have done it through the Made in the UK at Rochester Festival. It's a very enormous and vibrant scene for jazz in the US that seems to, if not actively exclude, at least not necessarily need the really great sceneries in Europe and particularly the UK. So having the Made in the UK thing means we came last time 2 years ago, and we did this show and one in New York. But that's meant that we come back this time, we're doing this, and we're doing other dates around the US and a whole string of Canadian festivals. So it's vital, really, and it's such an important place for jazz musicians to play.
My name is John Nugent. I'm the co-producer and the artistic director of the Xerox Rochester International Jazz Festival. And we had over 187,000 visitors at our festival. We had, at the Made in the UK series, full houses every night. Over 10,000, I believe, total attendance. The artists were all so well received, and it's become now, after the 5 years that we've done this in our festival, a vital component of what our festival is all about.
Well, we have a wonderful band brought together from musicians who are visiting from the UK, also some musicians from Rochester. There's been so many great collaborations and bringing together music over the course of this festival. So please welcome to the stage, Arun and Ghosh.
Thank you very much.
And already during your show, people were already tweeting about your show being killing.
Is that right? Yeah, is that right? I was busy playing, so I didn't get to check my tweets. I thought that might have been a bit rude.
It's been done before.
I'm really pleased to hear that. I mean, from our point of view, we just really enjoyed the show. It felt like a really warm audience. It was a beautiful place to play. Such a wonderful setting. The sound was lovely, and we just felt really good to be here in general. It's a great festival, and so we're fired up to really want to kind of represent the UK tonight, and I'm really glad it went down well.
I love the show. Thank you.
It's my favorite musician of the season.
Hey. I mean, it was like you were making love to your clarinet up there. I love the river so.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
It's an opportunity for musicians not just to play in front of a major American audience, but it's also a gift to their managers and their agents, who can then also spin off and look at producing other shows throughout the States. A good example of that has been Suetta Kinch, who went to Rochester some 2 years ago, and at the same time he found concerts in Philadelphia and in New York City.
A big part of our festival is the liaisons we have with all the jazz festivals across Canada, which go from Victoria, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. This year we had, I think, combined 250 shows with artists that did all the circuit. And I truly believe in promoting the arts from the European continent, and especially the United Kingdom. It's a very big part of the work that I do as an artistic director. So please support your artists, bring them to our festival, we'll put them in front of full houses, and they can really develop their craft on this side of the ocean.
And you get great support back and forth between the series and the Jazz Fest. You know, it's great the way that works.
Oh yeah, I mean they've helped us get into Canada. They actually moved the dates in line with the Canadian festivals so that you can come here and then you can go on to the other festivals. So, you know, if we can build on that, there's another great, you know, outcome from the investment of our funders. You know, it's fantastic.
Thanks. We're going to play one more track from NeWt. And they are at the Christchurch tonight, 6:45 and 8:45. And thanks again.
Thank you.
They're now live on Jazz Street with more of what he heard and saw. Adam?
This evening we caught some U.S. music and some music from across the pond.
Hey! That's me?
This one under the banner Made in the UK. It's a series started 5 years ago at the Jazz Fest that features jazz from the United Kingdom. Here's producer John Elson.
We've ended up with in excess of 10,000 people coming to hear British creative musicians. I mean, there's some jazz musicians in there, but we're also trying to present some new, young, creative musicians and their music.
The Scottish band NeWt was playing Tuesday night at Christchurch, the home of the series. Elson says the program has grown into the largest jazz fest with UK jazz outside of the United Kingdom.
Well, I can tell you now that my emails this morning from British musicians wanting to come next year has already started. I mean, there's an amazing amount of publicity going on in the UK about all these musicians coming over here.
And Made in the UK has been so successful, Jenny, that you can find the label in several jazz festivals here in the US and starting this year in Canada as well.
At present, we're very fortunate that we have great media relationships with the Rochester Festival, with the local jazz radio station, which has up to 1.2 million listeners, and also to the entire press and publicity machinery, which covers the northeast of the USA, including networking by NBC and ABC TV of not just the festival, but some of our events as well.
We're very proud to say we've got a real range of talent. There's bands here in the series that cover all kinds of genres. Last night in the church there was a beautiful duo of guitar and, well, variously saxophone, flute and bagpipes.
And that caused a lot of stir. There was a lot of people talking about it last night.
Yeah, well, deservedly so. It was beautiful music, it really was.
sound coming out of the UK, you know, it's very British, and inevitably there'll be some Celtic music gets in there, and there'll be some English folk music, probably crossover and rock and pop and all the stuff that comes out of the UK, so it's a really interesting mix. With regards to the organisations, Jazz Services and the Scottish Jazz Federation work very closely together, and just making it happen, it's much easier, you know, if we have the more bodies we have around, you know, and we had a great reception yesterday. You were there.
I was there.
With a little whiskey,
great reception.
a little whiskey tasting, and it was great. I mean, we met lots of people who are really supportive of the Made in the UK series.
As good as the whiskey was, the highlight was when Liane Carroll came and sang the one song with the person who plays trombone, I guess,
Chris
of the band.
Grieve, yeah. They never played together before, so, you know.
It was beautiful.
Fantastic, yeah.
Vocal and trombone stark in a room with no microphone. That was really wonderful.
Oh, love is like a water. It's off and over. Love is like a water.
Is it hard for all the countries to work together for the Made in the UK series, or is there some sort of
such a good spread? I mean, here we've had bands applying for the scheme from all over the UK. Bands can apply for it, and then they're selected by an independent panel with the support of obviously the Rochester Festival and organisations that are funding us, the British Council in the UK.
Funding is critical to making this work. We're grateful to the Rochester Jazz Festival for making available to us a huge resource. Not just in terms of production, but also in press and advertising support that they give us. However, in terms of the UK, we've been grateful for the funding of Creative Scotland through the Scottish Jazz Federation, by Jazz Services. I have to say that the British Council have been very supportive out of London, but this year, 2012, the Canadian British Council offices came on board and are absolutely thrilled to see these groups being offered at all the major festivals throughout Canada as well. And I'm grateful very much for their support.
We're gonna go to your house today, and I'm like, yes!
I've always seen this opportunity for the musicians, for their associated colleagues, their managers, their agents, but also I've looked at the partnerships between establishments, educational establishments. So the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama were introduced to the Eastman School of Music, and both jazz departments are discussing at this moment ways of being able to cooperate in the future. The whole operation is much more than purely a showcase for a particular musician or a particular band. It has, for me, to have much more than that, and I think we're achieving it in very different ways, and I look to the future in being able to build this, not just in America but also in Canada.
Well done. You are awesome. You made our night. Thank you very much indeed. Awesome. You are amazing.
You're amazing.
You are amazing. Such a good singer. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the arts organizations in the UK for supporting your artists to come here to the United States. I will make sure they all get their visas every year, and we will give them all the support and media we can to promote artists from the United Kingdom and help to develop their careers in this historic country across the pond.